Because you do these internet speed tests and it goes, oh, very fast. You've got very fast internet.
Yeah, like
It's
anyone's
like-
counting.
It's like someone is just bullshitting to you.
Right.
Oh. This is absolutely Essendon. It's our round 12 review. Bombers versus the Suns. Oh yeah, we went down. We went down by 11 points. A very, very frustrating night at the office. However, after round 12, I can confirm that we have 8 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, still sitting second somehow. However, should we continue the losing streak, it is quite the precipitous fall out of the 8. So there's something to be wary of. But for now, let's have a look at this game up on the Gold Coast that we went into and fought very hard, valiantly, brave Bombers we were,
very brave.
so brave, but
brave.
didn't get there in the end. And let's start with that, because there were some positives out of the game, as frustrating as it was.
Well, the bookies had the Coasters as
They
favourites.
did,
so,
which was and the bookies know.
They do.
They're the smarties.
They do.
They're the smarties, and they do know.
You know, look, it was a disappointing game. It was a frustrating game. And despite our best efforts, we just couldn't quite get them, and they were very good. We were okay. So I think to have lost by 11 points against a team that has not been beaten at home this year, and we were not playing our best football, missing a few players, I thought actually wasn't a devastating loss. You know, it was a disappointing result, but not a devastating.
That's a very mature response, DT. Far more than I normally expect. But can we?
I'm over ranting.
Are you?
I used
You're
up
sick
all
of
my rants
Really?
in season 1 of Absolutely Essendon.
You got
I have no more rants in me.
Really?
I'm rantless.
You're just more zen these days, are you?
I am.
Really?
I think you've got a little rant, haven't you?
Oh no! Don't bring it up,
Something
and then I won't
about
get
the
started.
men in lime green?
Don't do it,
All
because
right.
I will get. Well,
Okay.
I'll save that for later on.
Fair enough.
But if we can just rewind for a second. Before last week, were many of our players sick? Did we go
There
in
was
carrying a bug? Was there a
nasty
bug?
running through? I don't know whether too many of the players caught said bug.
Right.
But apparently quite a bit of the coaching staff did.
Oh, right.
So thank
So
goodness
it's-
for that, because
Oh, okay.
I don't know whether too many of those people should be offered extensions. Did you see how our VFL team went on the weekend, by the way?
Thriving?
There's another story.
No.
There was a
Okay.
bug. I think Brad Scott invoked COVID regulations.
Protocol?
The red lights were flashing at the hangar and everyone ducked for cover.
Rat Test Central?
They avoided the worst of it.
Rats everywhere?
They were crawling out of the gutters,
Right.
and seeking out anyone in a red and black Guernsey. But
Right.
I think, all jokes aside, we cannot use the virus as an excuse.
Right, okay.
Unfortunately.
But geez, we came out of the blocks so well.
Didn't
well.
we? It was very reminiscent of the game against Fremantle last year over in Perth, where, like against the Suns, we jumped out of the gates looking $1 million,
Right.
but just couldn't put them away. And I felt that, as that first quarter kept going, I'm thinking we're missing our opportunity here. If they score a couple of quick goals, they're right back in this game. And guess what happened? Smoking.
They scored a couple of quick goals.
They scored a couple of quick goals and they were right back in the game. And it was a bit of an arm wrestle from that point onwards.
It was, but I was even, because I'm a greedy guts, was even dreaming in that first quarter, this could be the thumping that we've been waiting for, that we haven't been served up in the last 2 weeks.
You sure you didn't get a bug? We don't thump. Thumping is not us.
We choose not to thump.
We are a more subtle executioner of our
man.
opponents.
And so then anyway, by the time the second quarter started, mate, they started dominating the disposals big time.
And their very sort of powerful midfield really kicked into gear, led by the great Took Miller. And his offsiders,
everywhere.
Noah Anderson and Matt Rowell?
Rowell, yes.
Rowell the trowel. And he certainly troweled us up.
Anderson, Flanders, have you mentioned all that? Look at them, all of them. They just had a big day out.
Ned Flanders? I don't know. They had very good players. And up forward, the
Bens. They had the two.
Rat was playing an absolute blinder.
He's got a bit of ball. Yeah, he's a dead ringer for the ball rat. Yeah. I don't normally fear the King brothers too much, but of course, against us,
the Max version you wouldn't even turn a blind eye to. But Ben's all right.
Both their Bens, 4 goals each, if you don't mind.
Yeah. They were very good, and I think we were a little bit off the boil. And gosh, are we missing one? D Parish, people. I keep saying it every week, but from rounds 1 through to 7, we were rated number 1 in the AFL for clearances at stoppages.
We were.
Since round 7, we're rated number 18.
That's
and
quite
in that time, we have lost D Parish and also S Draper. So say what you might about those two boys, but I think when they're not out there, we are certainly missing some presence in the midfield at the centre bounces and at stoppages around the ground.
Yeah, well, we were warned, really, because we had that niggle in the games against North and the Tigers.
Yeah.
There was a couple of alarm bells, and that certainly came to fruition in the game against Gold Coast. Really,
Nick Bryan, how did you think he went?
I thought he started pretty good in the first half. I thought pretty good. Did some nice stuff around the ground. Second half, though, I thought he fell away a little.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he had, I think, 13 disposals up to half time, which was equal to the best output from either Goldstein or Draper this year in terms of disposals. Didn't mark the ball once, which is a worry. Had about 20 hit-outs and his opponent had 26. I think he was pretty evenly matched with the young boy from Gold Coast.
Yeah.
But Nick, I think he needs some time. He can't be judged too much on that one game, but he has been copping a little bit online from Essendon supporters, which I think is very unfair. I thought he did look actually pretty good in that first half, but ran out of steam in the second half.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of that might be as well. There was a crucial moment, if we just fast forward to the last quarter, with 11 minutes to go, where someone in the Essendon team broke the cardinal rule of never handball to a ruckman. Yeah. I think it was Caldwell. He was under a bit of pressure. Handball to Brian. He fumbled. Yeah. Gold Coast scored.
That
back
was
to
a
11
critical
points in
turning
front.
Point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think throughout the game we were a little sloppy. Some of our disposal just falling short by a metre, kicking
the kicks into the forward line.
Kept hitting the ground.
Yeah. At least they weren't going into a pack. There were some shorter kicks, but they were like half volley kicks.
Weren't quite making the distance. There was several of those, and in some cases the players did very well to gather the ball up. But look, I think in hindsight we were poor in disposal and very poor in goal kicking, and I think Merritt, Langford, Stringer and Martin between them kicked 10 behinds, which not a goal amongst those 4.
There's the game there, really.
So had they just kicked a couple of goals out of those 10 shots, different result. You could argue that Gold Coast missed some shots as well. It happens, but for those 4 in particular to miss, and Martin had a horrible running into an open goal and seemed to want to kick the ball to China and banged it into the post from 15 metres out of it.
We love the kid. We love him.
Well,
but,
I'm sure we do.
But that was a bit of
overall,
a Barry Crocker.
Game of missed opportunities, I think. And despite not being at our best, we hung in there. That's about as good as the Gold Coast can play, and they got the 4 points.
Home ground advantage. They haven't lost there this year. So when you take all that into consideration and their domination clearances, we actually did okay given all that. Missing in front of goal, still managed to be in the game in the last quarter.
That last quarter, Rowell, Miller and Anderson had 30 possessions between them. The three of them had 10 possessions each and 8 clearances. Now, by comparison, our sort of prime midfield, Merritt, Caldwell and Durham, only had 16 disposals and 4 clearances. So their midfield really gave us a toweling in that last quarter, despite the fact that both sides, I think, kicked 5 goals. But their goals seemed to come so easily from kicks out of the middle, straight to a man, one-on-one, who'd mark from 15 metres, 20 metres out. So whereas when we were scoring goals, they were hard work. Yes. Real struggles. And I think, look, to be fair, there were a couple of decent players for us. I thought Nick Hine had a good game.
Oh, he continues to do really well for us. I don't know where that's come from.
3 sausages.
Coxie, 3,
just slammed them through.
He was penetrating.
He saw those big sticks and just went straight down the middle.
He did.
Yep.
He did indeed. And I thought it was great to see Guelphy, who'd had a quiet game. He sort of awoke in the last quarter and made an impact. Jai Menzie, I thought, Made a couple of errors still, but,
Right.
in lieu of Davey was
I think
applying a lot more pressure.
He doubled the amount of possessions that Davey normally has. I think Jai had 4.
Yeah.
So, no, I think there were some highlights. And also Ridley was not as dominant as he was the week before.
No, because he set a
was
high
still pretty good.
benchmark. Yes.
And overall, Redmond played a good game. I thought
did.
Caldwell was pretty good, actually.
Yes.
And Zach was great, as usual.
Heppel, 27 possessions.
Heppel was very good.
Mr.
Reliable this year, isn't he?
He really has been. And look, and Durham and Caldwell were still okay.
They were. They were.
They
But
were.
they dropped their colours, lowered their colours, I think, to be fair to Raul and Miller,
Now,
who were fantastic.
In the last quarter, would it be fair to say that we were still trying to win the game? Would it be fair to say that?
Of
And
course.
so, was it sufficient intent, do you think?
So you're going to have the rant now.
Hey? Well, I don't want to be those nuffy fans that blame the umpires.
Well, you are.
But the umpiring is not the reason why we lost. Let me be clear, it is not the reason. But come on, it was farcical. It really was.
Look,
the umpiring
that's
in
more
that
of
game.
a discussion around umpiring in general. And yeah, right, I don't think we lost that game because of umpires. They didn't help. But I don't think I thought there was some very unusual decisions going against both teams.
Yeah, of course. No, we were on the receiving end of a couple of shockers as well. Definitely. That Ridley holding the ball.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Durham's 50-metre penalty, which he scored a goal from.
Yes.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, the last 50-metre penalty, giving it to the wrong player. I mean, what is that
there was some
nonsense?
Stuff. But
What is that nonsense?
I talked about it, in an episode that will never see the light of day, that's on the cutting floor.
Did you?
About how,
Right.
what game in the world, what professional sport in the world changes its rules halfway through a season?
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine in soccer if they decided they're going to just throw the offside rule out halfway through the season?
Yeah.
Because it was annoying some people. I know AFL is a lot of grey around the rules, but we're not helping our cause by having that lack of intent to keep the ball in play. Just play it out universally, like they do in soccer. If you last to touch the ball, it goes to the other
team. Just do that. That would just be
fair.
much clearer to everybody. No grey area. But now, if the crowd just shouts a little too loudly, the umpire's like, oh.
What is that? That's like Sean Connery slapping them on the bottom.
It's just like, the one, I think there was one with Guelphy that was bad, and then the one with Hines.
Nick Hines.
Terrible.
He's trying to win the game.
Oh,
he's
my
kicking
God.
the ball
What
to his forward
option
line.
does he have? Where do they find these guys? I mean, I know you've got your A-tier umpires, your B-tier, and then those that get to do the Gold Coast games. But seriously, like AFL, this is your product, right? You've created a multi-billion-dollar
15th highest
industry.
Revenue sport in the world.
Is it? I didn't know that. I still don't believe it. But anyway, you've created that, right? And, your customers, the fans, are not happy because we're confused. We don't know. I had someone from Canada over on the way, and he was like, I really want to learn this game. I said, good luck, buddy. Good luck, because I still don't understand it.
What was the outcome of that?
Oh, God. He's like,
I'll
I might
pass.
I'll
pass on that.
I'll stick with the NFL.
Yeah. Stick with curling.
Seriously, AFL, please. You're very quick to jump on other things and make things happen when there's an opportunity to do a bit of virtue signalling. Yeah. How about fixing up the crux, the core, the critical element
any chance
of
this
the
rant's
game?
going to finish before?
No, all right. You started it. I didn't want to, but anyway. Yeah. What do you got? What do you got there? Is that the good lady? Hey,
I'm not sure who that is. I think that might be Uber Eats.
Hey, your silent mode isn't working that well.
I thought I had it on silent mode, but there you go. I just want to show people how important I am.
Sometimes the emergency contacts, they can get through. Anyway,
so wrap up.
Are we going to wrap up now?
I guess so.
You think so? Don't want to overstay our welcome?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Okay.
I mean, there's a risk of overstaying your welcome. I'm not saying we are, but there's a risk of it.
Well, all I'll say is there is a little bit to tidy up before we face the Carlton.
Oh.
The Carltonians.
There you went and said it. Okay. That is an episode in its own, I would think, talking about the coming game, the Carlton game. Well, first time we've been in the top 8 playing each other since 2013.
Oh, my Lord. There's a statistic.
That's a statistic.
Is that made up? Is that they said
possibly,
research?
Possibly.
Okay. All right.
Look, someone out there will confirm that.
That deserves its own preview episode.
Look, I think we
No promises.
Do we want to do a preview, guys?
Let's try and do that.
Yes. An overwhelming roar of approval just came down the line. Thank you. We will do that.
Maybe even
we will meet up
See if I can
maybe
scrounge up a multi
a day before. And the King's birthday, what an occasion.
It is.
Our
It should
great
be
king.
marked with an extra episode.
Our warrior
I think.
king.
He is.
Who wanted
He'll be watching.
Who
He'll be
wanted
watching.
to come back as a tampon, if I don't, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
you're going way back into the archives.
That
there.
is an
Just
unusual
Google that.
bit of phone sex, isn't it? When you're
That,
telling your girlfriend you want to be a tampon.
That
But
was
anyway,
a nasty phone
Fair enough.
recording from 1983.
I think it was during the 90s, but
Oh, was it?
yeah, he was talking to Camilla. Oh, Camilla. I hope I can come back as a tampon.
Yeah, I might have been
Your
early
tampon.
90s. That's right. Princess Diana died in 97. That's
Yeah,
right.
I think it was just
okay.
before he arranged the breaks to be cut.
All
brake
right.
Cables.
Okay. Well, do we want to cover anything else?
That's it. I'm done.
Okay. All right.
It's been
Okay.
a
Let's
huge
leave it
week.
on that conspiracy
Bad luck,
theory.
Bombers. It's
all
not-
right.
we're not-
Yes.
it's not all over.
It's not all over.
But,
no.
we're getting there.
We're still half glass full down
We
here.
are.
So please give us your thoughts below, and we'll be back at some stage.
Sometime
All right.
soon on a
That'll do.
large
Okay.
screen TV
Okay.
near you.
Yes. All right. We
Okay,
are done.
guys.
We're out. Thank you.
Au revoir.
As always. Bye for now.
Bye.
Go Bombers.
Cheers.